Hi, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome to the Anchored Mind podcast, where we aim to redefine care by combining counseling, nutrition, and fitness so that you can live a better life.
Yep. And today we are going to be talking about the ancient concept of our bodies being like a temple. So they're very complex, but they're also this single structure that requires maintenance and intentionality and care. Another modern version of this analogy is like a vehicle, where what we put into the car, the fuel, what we do to maintain it, how we drive it, how we handle sharing road with another vehicle, all of that matters. And so these analogies really just help frame, in our opinion, preventive care and what we aim to do at Anchored Mind by combining counseling, nutrition, and fitness so that people are living a better life and avoiding things like chronic illness.
Yeah, and I really love that analogy of the temple. I mean, the car thing is fine too. I'm just not as
I've
much
tried.
of a car
Yeah.
person as you, so I probably wouldn't take as good of care as my car. But the temple, I really relate to. I really like it. I think that when you think about the building a temple, you think about structure and guidance and a solid foundation, what it's built on, what its inner workings are. But a temple is really something that we protect and we respect and we really care for. And I think that's just that relates so well to our body as a whole,
Yeah, for sure.
what it needs.
Maybe we can dive a little deeper into each of the areas that we're passionate about. I mean, how I use this analogy in the counseling room, for example, is what am I doing to maintain, the rooms in my temple or the parts of my car? And really that's what's underneath the hood, right? Or behind the walls. And
Mhm.
so that's our mind. People don't really know how to read minds as far as I know. And so how we manage our thoughts and challenge certain patterns that might lead to negative emotions. We also respond to our emotions and hopefully not react to them. And then, of course, how we show up in relationships. All of that is interconnected and very much part of why we do what we do in mental health.
Yeah. So what's an example of someone taking really good care of their temple in a mental health way? And then, yeah, have you run into any situations or have you have any examples of what it would look like?
Yeah, one of my most popular tools in the counseling room is called the reframe. It's helping someone consider either an additional perspective or maybe replacing the one that they have that has been a bad habit, so to speak. And what we do is challenge some of the ways that people look at things, whether it's themselves, others, the world, or even certain situations.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of fun because people then start to understand how interconnected everything is. If I can change the way I look at something, does that change the way I feel? And if that changes the way I feel, does that set me up to enjoy a nice meal? And if I enjoy a nice meal, does that make me feel good? If I feel good, does that help me show up in relationships any differently? Does it give me motivation to go to the gym or go on that
Mhm.
run? I mean, I could keep going, right? There's like a domino effect from making one good choice. And that one good choice could be in how we think. It could be in what food we choose to eat to fuel our bodies. It could be getting out and going on a hike.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I love most about Anchored Mind and what we do is because the entry point almost doesn't matter. All the pieces matter, but where you start is not really that important. What matters is looking to create that domino effect. And, from a scientific standpoint, if I'm in a place where I'm reducing inflammation or tension in a relationship or whatever it is, yeah, I'm avoiding chronic disease. There's even really cool research that shows when you're in an intimate relationship and you feel safe and your nervous system's calm,
Mhm.
not only does that reduce inflammation, there's research that shows you live longer. It's pretty wild.
Right.
So our bodies literally respond. Our temples are literally designed for when you care well for the temple you've been given, the vehicle that you drive, it will last longer.
Yeah, and it's amazing, like, I think at Anchor in Mind, what we care about so much too is not even separating these categories into nutrition, counseling, and fitness as much as providing an opportunity for clients to experience what they feel like as a whole when they're
Mm,
operating together, what it feels like to have breath to movement or to figure out how to eat in a mindful way, to reduce emotional overeating or
taking pre-workout, right?
right. So
For the record, I do. My wife doesn't agree.
I do not love it. So I really that's what we care about most, and that's what I love about what we do.
Yeah.
On the nutrition side, it's very similar. You know, food is such an opportunity to care for our temple. It's has medicinal properties. I mean, every bite that we take is information for, our body's functions, for our immune function, for our mood, for our hormones, for our gut microbiome. I mean, every bite that we put in our bodies is so important. It's the fuel to our car, but also the way that we relate to food matters just as much,
Hmm.
right? If every
It's
time
a
we sit down
relationship.
to a meal, we experience guilt and shame and fear, I mean, not only does that affect us physically, but mentally. And again, we're back in that system where it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
So,
I love that line that every bite is information. I think
mhm,
it's really cool.
mhm.
I could say the same of every thought, every feeling. It's data, right?
Yeah.
That we can pay attention to and learn from. Just like we're not what we eat, even though that line's out there, we're also not what we think and we're not what we feel. Those are
Mm,
temporary experiences, right? Food
mhm,
comes and goes, thoughts and feelings come and go.
mm.
But I think the things that we want to have last as long as possible are relationships and our bodies.
Yeah.
And so,
And what I'm kind of like putting together in this conversation is how important that the foundation is in all of those areas. It's important for us to know how to fuel our bodies in a way that really supports health and longevity. It's important to know how to reframe things. It's important to know how to structure an exercise
yeah,
regimen, how to get up and take care of ourselves. If we're only doing one thing, we could be missing out on opportunities for another. But that fluidity in all of those areas is so important, and grace,
yeah,
right? If we're getting too rigid or too perfectionistic or restrictive and with food, we can really get ourselves off course and we're not caring for our temple in the way that we need to. Typically in the nutrition room, we use the word nourishing our bodies most because I think that that really reflects what food brings to the table, which is nutrients, but it's also joy and connection and culture, and those things are all important for our soul and our body.
yeah. I love that pun. What food brings to the table. Yeah,
It's
that's good.
true. It brings us around the table. It's a
Yeah,
very important part of our life.
yeah. It facilitates connection, right?
Mhm.
So that leads us back to relationships, how we drive our car and share the road with others, how we try and stay aware of other people's temples and show up for them. It starts with being aware of your own and what you need. It just creates that awareness.
Yeah.
Um, Self-awareness can definitely promote others' awareness. And so when it comes to relationships and that point of connection, I love the idea of that fluidity because I think it opens up this room for grace where,
Mhm.
okay, maybe the way my temple is designed is not the same way that other people's temple is designed. Maybe just like we all drive different cars, right? And some have different fuel sources and different maintenance schedules and colors, shapes, and sizes, all the things. And so, in honor of that, relationships have to be fluid because everyone's different. They come from different families, different cultures, they have different needs, different feelings, thought patterns, all the things. But that doesn't mean rigidity doesn't have a place because
Right.
we also need laws in society and we need boundaries in relationships,
Mm.
honor each other's needs. And there's also an element of our internal world that needs some rigidity, like self-discipline or making sure that we challenge unhelpful thinking patterns or
Mhm.
irrational beliefs.
Or
There's a lot of work there.
or the nutrients that are the building blocks of our body. Like,
Yeah,
we need those things too, and to need to understand those at a basic level.
yeah. And obviously there's a whole package of information that this connects to with fitness, just like if I don't want to get injured, I need to stretch, I need to warm up.
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
there's wisdom there as well. We're not fitness trainers, so we're only going to speak so much to that, but the analogy, the point is, works for all this.
Yeah.
So I do want to get a little vulnerable too, and you may hear passion in my voice when we talk about some of this kind of stuff because it's very close to my heart. It's very close to my family. Losing my dad to suicide definitely makes me want to dive even deeper just from a place of pure curiosity of how did he get to that point? You know,
Mm,
what were his thought patterns like? What were his emotional patterns like? What did he believe? You know, were there things that could have been more explored and worked on to prevent him from falling victim to that? And then my mother, who is a recipient of multiple sclerosis, which is still a very mysterious disease, but it's thought of having environmental influence and stress and, you know, causing lesions in the brain, which creates this disconnect in the body. And so, from a preventive standpoint, I'm looking at those things because I've lived them, and I do not want other people to experience those types of things. Both are very terrible, and hopefully, we could say unnecessary paths that have
mhm,
to end so prematurely.
mm.
You know?
Yeah, that's why we care so much about preventative care.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really is. That's the heart behind it for sure.
So as our body is a temple, just going back to we need structure, we need it to be built on something, but we need grace and we need fluidity and care for ourselves.
Yeah, and I think, of course, I'm biased, but what we do and the way we do it provides a template. So, at the very least, anyone who is part of our community, they're thinking through those 3 lenses, regardless of their entry point. If they're coming in for group fitness or personal training to strengthen their bodies, you know, and keep them healthy. If they're coming in for mental health or relationship work, if they're coming in for their nutrition, it really doesn't matter as long as they're starting somewhere and seeing how each of these areas are interconnected and in many ways interdependent,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I like that even better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important. So I think we have accomplished our mission if we at least have people, individuals, families in our community asking these questions about where am I at with what I'm putting into my body? How's my relationship with food? How is my mental health? You know, what do I often think about? How am I feeling in general?
Mhm.
What do I believe to be true about this world? How are my relationships? And then is there anything I could do differently today with moving my body? And is it possible that all those questions, it doesn't matter again which one's asked first, it just matters that they're getting asked and that they all relate.
Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed this conversation. Hopefully you have too. And if so, feel free to follow along as we pursue more episodes and share our experiences and knowledge from this big recycling room of information. Feel free to comment and share any feedback. If you have any suggestions on future episodes, we'd love to hear them. So thanks for following along, and we'll see you in the next one.